Success. Media. Network. 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 Network.
This is your show.
Good day, successors. I'm Antonio Holman, and welcome to the 4 Principles of Success podcast number 1, where I'll be chatting with successful people about how they enhance their businesses and lives in the realms of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. Today, we're talking to Amanda Neely. Amanda is the co-founder and co-owner of Overflow Coffee Bar, L3C. Amanda and her husband opened Overflow Coffee Bar in 2011 as a social enterprise focused on achieving a social mission prior to making a profit. Amanda is a knowledgeable entrepreneur with experience in creatively solving the challenges inherent to growing and starting a business. Amanda loves to share her experiential knowledge as a certified life and business coach through overflowyourpossibility.com. Amanda, are you ready to help our listeners prepare for success?
Absolutely.
All right. Aside from your business, let's learn a little bit more about you and your personal life. Give us a little glimpse there.
Yeah, I've been married for a little over 10 years to a man who is very much my opposite. And that's actually made us really good business partners because we, in business, you need to be, have different strengths and weaknesses and or different strengths, particularly like he's strong where I'm weak and I'm weak, or I'm strong where he's weak. And that's really been huge for us in terms of being entrepreneurs. And we live on the south side of Chicago. And I guess a little more glimpse into my personal life, I really love to read and write and stay really active in my community. And that's actually part of why I became an entrepreneur, is because of being active in my community and wanting to do more of that.
Cool. Don't you have a really cool cat?
I do. His name is Sammy Davis Jr. He is the most amazing cat. He loves to be loved. And we are very fortunate to call him our cat.
Yeah, I love that name. I love cats too, by the way, for everyone
awesome.
who doesn't know.
They're much more friendly for an entrepreneur to have than a dog because, we're always at work. So
Right. Don't disturb me because I'm working. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, for those who don't know what an L3C is, what type of business is it?
Yeah, so most people are familiar with an LLC, a limited liability company. The L3C adds another L to the beginning of that. It's a low profit LLC. And they're in several states now. We actually were the 17th in the state of Illinois. It's a pretty new thing, relatively new. And basically, to be an L3C, you need to be organized for a mission prior to making a profit. Doesn't mean you can't make a profit, but you wouldn't be in business if it weren't for the social mission that you're trying to accomplish. That's in a nutshell. There's a whole bunch of other pros and cons about it. That people can read about online or talk to an attorney about, but that's the nutshell version.
So what was your first entrepreneurial venture and how old were you?
Yeah, so it kind of depends on your definition of an entrepreneur. I've always been a leader and I've always been pretty creative. I sat my mom down when I was about 13 and I forced her to create a budget. And my parents are really great about letting me exercise my leadership even within our family. I made my dad start recycling and, things like that. And then with my extracurricular activities in school, we were always trying to figure out how to make money for those activities. Like the stereotypical example of like Girl Scout cookies, but then I was more in the arts and creative side. So we would do things like the food at the sporting events to help raise money for the band, or we'd, sell pie and coffee at our concerts or our theater productions to support the arts department in general. And even in like my first full-time job out of college, I worked for a larger nonprofit, but my bosses allowed me to be very entrepreneurial within that. I guess people call that intrapreneurship, where you're in a large company, but they let you still exercise those creative ideas and things. And so that's sort of, we started our first business. I started working on it when we were 24, and we opened our brick and mortar to the public when I was 26. So sort of always been doing entrepreneurial stuff.
So tell us about when you decided to become a serious entrepreneur. What was the purpose you imagined, and what was your reasoning? What was your visualization at that moment?
Yeah, so my first job out of college, I was actually working for a large nonprofit, and I would see how a lot of the smaller nonprofits that we partnered with spent way too much time fundraising, and their mission sacrificed from that. And so I started trying to creatively think of ways to solve that problem. And my husband he grew up going to really great coffee shops and had, thought as a teenager, seeing the owner, that he would love to be that owner someday. So he thought, well, let's start a coffee shop. And at first I was resistant. But we decided to do some fasting together. And after about 20 days of fasting and only eating fruits and vegetables, we realized that we knew that starting our own social enterprise coffee shop was what we wanted to do. And so we had planned to do 40 days, but halfway in, we decided we realized that we already knew. And we went and celebrated at our favorite Pan-Asian restaurant here in Chicago. And that started a journey of just visualizing the space and the people that would come there to buy coffee, but really because they wanted to talk to people and stuff like that. And during our grand opening, especially, I had so many feelings of deja vu because, and I realized when those feelings would hit me, oh, I dreamed this, I visualized this. This is something I totally saw coming. And so, that was really cool to see that affirmation of those dreams and visions realized. And it wasn't just in the surroundings, but in the people that we would meet and the things that they would say and what they liked about our coffee shop and so on and so forth. So yeah, I think that answered everything in your question there.
Yeah, that's the one thing I really love about all of these things is visualization. A lot of people don't realize how powerful visualization is. And it seems that I'm really good at it because the things I visualize and I actually focus my mind on it subconsciously, down the road, I'll go, wait a second.
Yeah.
This is what I thought about a while back, and it actually exists right in front of my face. Mm-hmm. This right here is actually one of them. This podcast, this is really cool. I get to talk to, people and get some insight. Yeah, visualization is extremely powerful.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
What do you feel was one of the hardest things to overcome in your business that you've since conquered?
When we started, it was, 24 when we started writing our business plan and everything. I was still paying off student loans, didn't have a lot of money. So it was a huge thing for us to figure out where we were going to get the startup capital that we needed to build out a space and buy our initial inventory and cover our staffing costs until, we were profitable and so forth. And that was huge. And we did everything that we could to overcome that, huge amount of money that went in, that we, laid out in our business plan that we needed. And we bootstrapped and we crowdfunded and we took out a loan and we did whatever we could to make up that full amount. And we overcame it. We opened, we struggled through those first couple years and we made it to the profitability. So now, and especially, some lenders won't give you money when you're just a startup. They want two or 3 years of financials and experience in there. So I feel like now when we need to go get capital for the next thing, we've already proven ourselves. We're ready to go.
Amanda, what currently in your business are you struggling to overcome?
Yeah. So in order to grow and, start a second location, keep the business moving forward, we'll need to transition from where we're here all the time. That's where we started when we first started, and we've been doing that up until about a year and a half ago. We started to transition from all us and a few staff to more staff and less us, just practically in the day-to-day of the business. And eventually we need to transition all the way to having a manager so that we can open a second location. We've also discovered that we really like to coach other entrepreneurs and help them through, those first 7 years of their journey like we have gone through. And so we want to be able to do more of that. And so I heard somebody recently talk about being a slave to their business. During the first couple of years, we were slaves to our business and didn't have that freedom. And we're still figuring out now how to have more freedom and still have a successful business at the same time.
So what is the biggest business triumph to date?
Yeah, I think it's getting to 5 years, and within those 5 years, getting to being sustainable and profitable. Most businesses fail within, the first couple years, and then even more fail within those 5 years. And we threw a big party at our 5-year anniversary, and just to see all the people in the room celebrating with us, the 200 of our closest customers and friends and a little bit of family, but not too much family. But we were all right there. And that was a huge triumph that night, to get to that night and to celebrate with all those people. And we're just thinking, the next 5 years are probably going to be able to go to an even bigger business triumph.
Yeah. What I've realized that the small celebrations along the journey are very key, because it motivates you to get to the next celebration.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's something I have started to do myself, and it actually works very well. So motivation is a key thing.
Yep. It helps you also overcome imposter syndrome, because you're taking those accomplishments and internalizing them, and then you're successful, and then you don't feel like an imposter as much anymore.
Right, and that's one thing I just learned about a few weeks ago. For those of you who don't know what imposter syndrome is, it is when you become an expert, or you tout yourself as being an expert in whatever field it is, and it's actual knowledge that you do have, but upon your delivering of the knowledge, you question yourself, you second guess yourself. Am I an imposter? And a lot of us have to get over that, because we're full of knowledge. We just, for some reason, we think we're not allowed to give the knowledge to the next person or help anyone else, but that's a hurdle for a lot of people. All right, you guys stick with us for just a second, and here's a word from our sponsors. Are you tired of using a ton of different services to help run your business? Here comes Zenlista to the rescue. With Zenlista, you can connect, post, schedule, and find content from all of your social media accounts. List and auto-update your company listing on over 300 sites and search engines. Generate live leads sent directly to your email. Monitor and manage your reviews and reputation before they're available to the public. See how you compare to your competitors. You can even create landing pages to gain new clients. Along with free one-on-one training after sign-up, Zenlista has all of this and so much more, all in one place. Exclusive for the first 250 listeners, receive 75% off the regular price. Sign up today at the4pos.com/Zen. Again, that's the4pos.com/ZEN. And we're back talking to Amanda Neely of Overflow Coffee in Chicago, Illinois. Let's see. So, Amanda, what are you currently doing to enhance your knowledge?
Definitely listen to podcasts. I've got a handful that I subscribe to and listen to faithfully. I'm also an avid reader, and I'm taking some online courses, some of which that I've heard about from those podcasts.
Oh, yeah. Online courses are, they're gold just waiting to be found. There's a lot of them out there.
Yep.
What are you currently doing to enhance your health?
Having a regular gym schedule is really important. And then the thing that I really, really stick to, even if sometimes I'll miss going to the gym, is I know what works for me for my nutrition and eating, what's best for my body, and sticking with that. I feel so much more energy and health, really contributes to my health too.
Yeah, and it's like a jolt to the brain function also, yeah.
Exactly.
What are you currently doing to enhance your wealth?
So as an entrepreneur, my business is always growing in terms of its equity and how much it's worth. And I think that's a really key thing, that even if I'm not making the salary that I would make potentially, in these last 5 years, I've actually built more wealth just in my business. And then of course, I'm still, and have been for the last 5 years, still setting aside money for retirement that's growing. And I'm using this cool way of doing that. It's called Bank on Yourself, or where you become your own banker. And so the money that I'll eventually use to retire is also accessible to me when I need it between now and then. And so I can use it to continue to build my business if needed, or for whatever I want to use it for.
Wow. Bank on Yourself. Is it like an app or a website, or what is that?
Yeah, I think if there's a lady nationally that's really well known for it. Her name's Pamela Yellen. Yellen, I believe. But I'm working with a local financial advisor here in Chicago and have been for several years. And he's been really great to help me figure out what's best for me as an entrepreneur to still have, to make sure I'm saving for retirement in a way that's wise for me.
What are you currently doing to enhance your spirituality?
Yeah, I really like to meditate. I first learned that going to some yoga classes, and it's become something really important to me. And what I find with the thing that helps me most through the meditation is remembering that I don't have to do everything, that I can allow God to do some of those things with and for me. And some of that happens, in that subconscious level while I'm meditating, or even through, asking for the gifts I know that He wants to give, and allow Him to give those things my way, and to do things that I couldn't do myself. And that's a really good reminder for me, because I'm a little bit of a workaholic.
Yeah, we all tend to be a little bit of that as an entrepreneur, for sure. Mm-hmm. On only one of the principles, the 4 principles, what is the best advice you've ever received?
Yeah, I think this goes particularly to the spirituality arm, that someone told us a long time ago that for starting the adventure we were about to start on, that we have to know that we know that we know that this is what we're called to do, or it's our purpose or our destiny, or whatever words you want to give to it. Because we found that that's been so true to to have done that fasting that we did, and to know this is what we're supposed to be doing with our lives. There's so many times that we could have given up and walked away, and we probably could have if we hadn't gone through that part before, to know that we know that this is what we're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, surety is almost everything.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any modern technologies or apps or anything that help you achieve success today?
Yeah, I really like to use Asana. It's a project management kind of software, and helps me with some of that delegating that I need to do to transition what we're doing with our business and get our staff doing more and us doing less. And it really helps in all 4 of the areas of success, because I can put my personal stuff in there and my work stuff, and make sure I'm remembering to do what's going to help build my health and my wealth and my spirituality and my knowledge, as well as what's going to just build my business and everything too.
Yeah, the one key word you said was delegating, which is a huge thing that entrepreneurs struggle with, because we tend to want to do everything so no one screws up anything. Mm-hmm. But me personally, I learned for myself a couple weeks ago. I made a big mistake, and it was because I was overwhelmed with work. And so I eventually got a friend to help me, and things are much clearer. Oh boy, I was embarrassed. But it's going to be all right because of delegation. I mean, you just have to.
Yep, good.
What one new thing, book, activity, or technology are you excited to dive into?
I've been learning a lot about marketing lately. I think that's been one of my biggest weaknesses as an entrepreneur, is you have to get yourself out there, and more people need to know about you. And so some of the online courses I've been taking have been about marketing. And so we're just trying to do enough split testing and get enough results to know what works for us and for our audience the best, in terms of making sure they know about us and are ready to purchase the products that we have.
A lot of people don't even realize how huge marketing is. Mm-hmm. Prime examples, the pet rock. I'm dating myself.
No, I remember my older siblings had pet rocks.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like, oh, what? A rock? Oh, it's so strange.
Yep.
On the 4 principles of success, what advice can you give our listeners so they can achieve a successful life and enhance their things further?
Yeah, I think we touched on it a little bit earlier with the delegating thing. We like to say that teamwork makes the dream work, and we try to invite others into our life and into our business as much as possible, from our employees to people we mentor, people that mentor us, different peers that we're helping grow each other's businesses. It really takes a team to make a dream, come into its fullness. And especially we've seen that having a coach has been really integral to us. And so I would highly recommend that if you don't have a coach, to get one.
And successors, Amanda has a special exclusive offer for just the 4 POS listeners. Amanda, what is that?
Yeah, so it's actually a great way to get a taste of what coaching is like. We're offering those of you who are listening 50% off an hour of coaching. And so you go to overflowyourpossibility.com/4POS, and we'll have a special discount there for you to get an hour of coaching for half the price we would normally charge.
All right, successors, you heard that. An hour of coaching. 50% off at overflowyourpossibility.com/4POS. Finally, Amanda, how can the successors connect with you?
Yeah, I'd love for you to shoot me an email at amanda@overflowyourpossibility.com. If you prefer social media, you can find me on Twitter and Snapchat at overflowamanda or Instagram at overflowcoffee.
Excellent. Everyone, I hope you've enjoyed the conversation I've had today with Amanda Neely. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Thank you for listening, and prepare for success. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you.
If you want to be more driven and more motivated in your life or business, go to the4pos.com/free book and grab a copy of my book, Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within. 25 motivations of personal development and life success. Get it now at the4pos.com/free book. Again, that's the4pos.com/free book.